Welcome back to another WIC cooking class video. I'm your host Anna with the Bell County Public Health District WIC program. And today I'm excited because I have a very special guest that I want to introduce you to. She is the reason I fell in love with cooking and, in my opinion, one of the best cooks in the world. She has been a cook on post, serving active military for 14 years. But she grew up learning how to cook at a very young age by watching and helping her mother in the kitchen. She knows secret recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation and has offered to share one of those recipes with us using our WIC approved foods. So, who is this special guest? Well, no one other than my mother. We hope her humble beginnings and traditions will inspire you to embrace your own or encourage you to start new ones with your growing family. So join me and my mother in the kitchen as she shares tips and tricks with us on what's cooking with WIC. So thank you, Mom, so much for taking your time to show us something new today.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so y'all had a small table.
Oh, a small table.
I could just imagine a small table, but there were 7 plus Grandma, and y'all had that, even though y'all couldn't sit down together, y'all still shared a meal together.
Oh, yes.
Coming together at the dinner table is more than just eating.
Right.
It's development, it's connection. This is family time. It's not just dinner time, it's family time.
We're going to make a pot of beans.
Okay.
4 pounds of beans. She would make 4 pounds of beans at least twice a week, you know, and she would boil her water, and then she would put it in here, and we would let the water boil real good, and then we'd wash our beans.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
We'll wash our beans, we put them in there, and then we put about, I think she'd put like about a big tablespoon of Crisco. Or,
At that time,
I think it was lard.
She would use lard.
It was
yes.
lard. And it would take about a good 2 hours to cook. You can see that I kept her pot, you know, and traditional. Okay, and but now after, you know, so many years, got on my own, I went to a crock pot. If you have to be on the go, you don't have time to wash your beans, you can just let them go by themselves.
Right.
So,
and then of course we have the Instant Pot. So this is like one of the latest craze is this machine, and you know, it's not anything new. You know, it's a pressure cooker. I think the only thing with these types of cookers, they're multi-cookers. So you can do things like saute, and you even make yogurt at home. If you need something cooked quickly, fast, it is very helpful, but this is not a magic bullet, okay? It just still takes time. So the way a pressure cooker works is that you can see how I'm sliding this lid. It creates this airtight seal. So what happens is that the liquids and that are in the pot, they build up this steam, or it lets off steam, and that steam can't go anywhere. So it builds up this pressure. So that pressure then increases the temperature of the foods, and so it cooks a lot faster. So even though it might take 2 hours to cook, you know, on the stovetop, 4 hours in the crock pot on high, this might only take a quarter of the time, or about an hour. It can be kind of dangerous when you are using this if you're not familiar with it. Right. So here, I'm gonna kind of point to things on the lid. So right here, this is like the pressure release valve. Whenever you set it, you wanna make sure that it's on sealed, okay? And not on venting, because if it vents, then, you know, the air is gonna escape, okay? And how to know if there's enough pressure? Well, this little red valve here, it's down, but it'll pop up once the pressure has gotten to the right point. So you can toggle it over to venting where it opens up, but remember, that's a lot of pressure, yes. So it's gonna come, as soon as you hit it or turn it, it's gonna come up super fast. So you don't want your face to be over it. You don't want your hand to be over it. Honestly, what I do is I will use like a rag, or I'll even use a spoon just so I keep my distance. And then you can also do natural pressure release, which is you keep it sealed, and then over time, usually about 10 to 20 minutes, depending on what's in here, it'll just naturally slowly release. Oh, and one more thing. On the bottom of this lid, there is a seal. You can remove it. Most people don't know that. You can remove that, and you want to wash it after every use, because if not, it collects like the smell of your food. So, you don't want your yogurt to smell like or taste like beans. So make sure you're cleaning that. All right, so those are a few different ways to make beans, different tools that you can use. But before we actually cover more information on how to make them in a crock pot, we're going to talk about how to prepare them. Okay, so before we actually throw the beans in a pot, we have to prep them.
You're right. I'm going to open up the beans, and we're going to lay them on the table.
That's what Grandma used to do, right?
This is what Grandma would do, but she would sit down. And we're looking for bad beans, half beans, a little bit of trash, and you're looking for
Little
rocks.
I even take out some that are like discolored. If you're having kids do this, if you have multiple kids that are doing this, you can make it a game, like who can find the most. So what's the next step that you do? I see you put them over here in the strainer.
We're going to wash them. We're going to wash them.
Washing them is important because
yes, it is.
They're dirty.
Right, just like your
fruits and vegetables.
You wash them. You want to wash your beans. Yes. Now we're going to throw them in the pot.
So she's going to go ahead and add her water to start cooking them.
Right.
However, if you are making them on the pot or on the stovetop or in the Instapot, then you are going to want to soak them typically. Not required, but soaking helps reduce the cooking time. If you were to add an oil or fat, would you add it now or would you add it later?
You're going to add it now, because if you don't add it now, they're not going to cook.
Okay.
They're going to take 8 hours.
Yeah, right.
Instead of 4 hours. They're going to take 8 hours, because the lard or whatever you're going to put, oil, helps it cook.
If you're going to do oil, then what you would typically do is 1 tablespoon of oil for 1 pound of beans.
For 1 pound of beans, yes. I'm cooking it on high for at least a good hour. Okay. And then I bring it down and just let it cook on its own, for
3 more hours, like on a medium?
Yeah, like a medium. If your knob has a medium, put it on medium and go wherever you got to go.
If they wanted to add flavors or salt, when would you typically do that?
I usually put the salt when they're just about ready, and when they're ready and everything, my mom always put a piece of garlic. A piece of garlic is to help gas.
Help reduce the gas.
Help reduce the gas. That's what she said. So I would get one, and I would cut it in little bitty pieces, and I'd add it into the beans and a little salt, and that's it.
Yeah. And that's so funny that you say that, because for traditionally, many cultures actually do add something like a garlic to reduce that flatulence. Science, it's mixed, they say it does, they say it doesn't. But regardless of whether you're doing it for that reason or not, it does add good flavor. Yes, so I definitely encourage the garlic. Okay, so we have the beans cooking, but you're going to show us another recipe, right?
The chalupas. It's something fast, something easy.
And something we grew up eating all the time.
We grew up eating this, and we loved it, and we never said no to a chalupa.
Yeah.
Now, these are the beans, pretty red beans. What we do, we put them on a little small skillet, because we're going to refry them.
Except we're not going to add oil.
We're not going to add oil. We're not going to add, what you're going to add more of this liquid here, so they don't dry out and they stay firm.
We have 2 tools. We have different mashers right here that you can use. You might have these at home, but if you don't, that's okay, because you're using a spoon and it works just as great.
Right, but we're going to try it. Okay. And you want to make sure you, when it's on top of the stove, that you cook all this. Little water, little juice, cook into the beans and see how firm.
This is typically when you would add your salt, if you're going to add salt to your mashed beans. But we do not add salt, because we have a secret ingredient that provides the saltiness for it.
Right. What is it?
Pickles.
Pickles.
So to make the tostada, we are going to bake it, which traditionally it would have been deep fried. But we found a way to bake it where you don't have to deep fry it, but it still adds that nice crunch. All right, so I like to put a little piece of foil because it's a quicker cleanup process. And then you just lay out your corn tortillas, however many you need.
Right.
So make sure you get a pan big enough, and then you're gonna spray. Oh, let's spray the top. So then we're gonna bake it at 350 for
10 minutes.
10 minutes, right? And then you flip it halfway. So like at
So
5
we have
minutes.
5 minutes, and then flip it, and then we're gonna.
It's as simple as that. And then while that's baking, you're going to prepare your toppings.
Right. We're gonna get my favorite toy. Everybody should have one in the kitchen.
What is that? A chopper, right?
A chopper,
Yeah, it's a chopper.
Yeah.
All right.
You're gonna cut your pickles because it's not very long, and so you're gonna lay your pickle down, and then you're gonna, bam. You got pickles in the bowl because there's a little bowl.
Yeah, not all of them come with this like container at the end, but this one's nice because it does. So do one more pickle, and then we'll do some tomatoes as well.
Yeah.
So you showed us how to make beans, and I think that's super helpful because not many people know how. I think it's like one of those recipes or traditions that just isn't as popular because it does take a little bit more time.
Time consuming.
Yeah, it's very time consuming. So if you do decide that you would prefer canned beans, I have on WIC, you actually get a choice. So for one item, you look on your shopping list, you'll see how many bean options you have. And one item is equal to 1 pound of beans, or you can choose 4 cans of beans. The dry beans, you want to look for any brand, any type. You can do beans, lentils, or peas, but it does need to be 1 pound or 16 ounces.
Cool.
For the canned items, you want to look for 15 to 16 ounce cans, and you can mix and match. So like I have chickpeas here, pinto beans. I also have green pigeon peas, and then we also do refried beans. But you want to make sure you look for the fat-free version. Okay. And then if you don't do beans at all, you can do 1 jar of peanut butter. So you put the beans on first.
And if you have kids, you have your lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles. We use pickles.
Yes.
And that helps, like, you don't have to use salt at all.
I don't think many people use pickles, but that's just something we've always loved to do.
People hear, when we say about chalupas, and they say, pickles? Yeah, pickles. And they try, I said, try it.
Yeah.
And they try it, and they love it.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, and then you just build your chalupa. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put cheese.
Okay.
I always put cheese.
So this is fun for kids to build their own tostada or chalupa because they can build it the way they like.
Yeah, 'cause there's kids
kind
that
of almost
don't
like a self-serve. They may not always like all the toppings, or they may not like to prepare it the same way. So for example, after you add the cheese,
Then I come over here and I get the lettuce.
but you also toast them sometimes.
Yeah, you toast them.
To melt the cheese. I mean,
You're gonna melt the cheese on the tostada, and then you pull it out, and then you're gonna put your lettuce, pickles, little tomatoes. You do it the way you want to, okay? Or Mom always mixed the pickles and the tomatoes and the lettuce together. We didn't get to be picky.
And the great thing is that all of these are WIC approved foods except for the pickles. Even the corn tortillas. Corn tortillas are WIC approved. You can do the yellow or the white. You just have to make sure you look for the correct package size, and you can look for the pink WIC sticker when it comes to corn tortillas.
And there you go.
You at home, if you want to add different vegetables, you can add different vegetables.
Anything you like
squash,
jalapenos or
onions, anything like that.
And you can put hamburger meat if you want it, but
Yeah, you can put hamburger meat, but if you're looking for like maybe a meatless Monday, if you're trying to do more vegetarian options, the beans provide protein as well. So yeah, you can do that. Well, thank you, Mom. This looks delicious.
It is.
It's one thing I remember growing up, eating all the time. It was quick meals. So if you're a busy mom and you just don't have time to cook a big meal, this is a great alternative.
And it's filling, very filling.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That's one of our family recipes.
Right.
I hope this inspires you to try it at home, but to also think about all those traditions that you grew up learning and that have been passed down to you, or if you don't have any, that's okay, because now you can start some with your family. Well, thank you, WIC family. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and this time with my mother.
Thank you.
Bye.